Hey guys, it's Thomas here and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another coaster review. Today's coaster is Stargate Command, which was created by CaKesT on the PlayStation Workshop. The description for this coaster is: welcome to the SGC deep within the Cheyenne Mountain. Stargate Command is an action-adventure coaster that takes up the entire 100% of the park. It has scenes from the movie and SG-1 series, as well as some twists for fun. The ride is for the community, as with all the NPCs being denied access by security, which we can see just down here. The guests are being stopped by this little barrier here. Yeah, there is some recommendations for volume settings, which I have applied, and there is a list of creators whose scenery pieces feature along the ride. Which I have, I won't list them out here because it will just take up all the screen, but if you are interested in looking at this coaster, then I will leave the details for it in the description below. So without further ado, we'll go and do what the guests can't do, and we will sneak past the security. We've got an alien in the back of this truck just here. We'll go in while the doors open. Very nice setting for this tunnel. Dramatic music, definitely. Well, that looks like the coaster station. What are we got in here? It's got lots of computers and a big screen. I do like the screen. I think that looks good. This is a really well themed control room. And there, I imagine, is part of the track, which we shall see shortly. He's a very happy spaceman there. And so that is the entrance to this ride. As CaKesT says, it does take up 100% of the park on a PS4 or Xbox One. This will certainly be interesting to see what this ride has on it to take up all that space. So, without further ado, we will go on test, hop in, and we'll sit in the middle. Let's go. Well, what a ride that is! That's just phenomenal. I mean, let's just have a look at the outline on the track just here. Oh, no, I'm looking at the scenery there. Let me try and select this track. If you look at the outline of that track there, how crazy that design is. I honestly, I don't know how. I don't know where CaKesT would have started building that. Do you build the track first and then go around it? Do you do it bits at a time? It's, you know, I mean, if you follow this, follow the train here, the effects here, look, as you come through, just look superb. I mean, everything, the music, the lighting, the sound, everything just works so well together. And it's one of those things where it's not overdone either. I don't think it's overly, like, you know, it's not overly decorated or themed. But it's not under decorated either. I think it just works perfectly. And you can see here, you know, as you go into it, you can see more detail as to how things have worked. But I mean, there's still plenty of elements on this ride that I have no idea how he's managed to do. The effects on the screen where they went sort of fuzzy, where the screen went fuzzy, I've no idea how he did that. You know, but you can see here the detail that's gone into that. It just looks superb. And point of warning, I did get made jump by that crocodile. I did wonder what was going to happen at that point, and I did jump a little when that crocodile jumped up out of the from underneath the track. So yeah, you definitely got me there. But yeah, I mean, just look at that. It just looks phenomenal, doesn't it? I mean, all of these pieces as well. There's so many. I'm going to have a look at how many trigger sequences there are, because I'm just interested to. I'm just interested to see here. Look at this, look. There's absolutely loads. This must have taken so long to time. You know, you can see just from the track here, you're on 40, 49, 50 over here. It must have taken so long to time, but it just fits so well together. You know, if you watch it from a third-person view here, seeing everything go off. I mean, the music really does make it, because watching this now, without the music, you know, it obviously doesn't sound as good. Which is why, you know, if you wanted to make a really good ride experience, definitely put music on. This is a prime example of why you do it. Again, you know, as he said in the description, this isn't a ride for guests. You know, you wouldn't build this so the guests would come in and enjoy it. This is a ride to sort of, you know, for us players to experience. And yeah, it's just such a great job on this. You know, even the detail on these buildings, as you're flying past them, you don't actually have that much time to see much around here, but you know, but it really does add to it, if you got what I mean. So you're not looking at it in detail, but if you didn't do it as detailed as this, it still wouldn't look as good. So yeah, really am a big fan of that. You know, you can just get lost down it. Look how far the track goes down here. You just get lost following it. It must have taken so long to build that, but it's definitely been worth it for sure. And I do like these. These are probably one of my favourite bits. The bird hanging on, the bird like lighting up as you come past and trying to like pick up the train, and then you've got the gorilla down here grabbing it. Oh, there we are, just grabbing it off the track and stuff. Those little elements as well, I really like. So and you've even got a bird's nest here. Look, I didn't even see that when I first came down. I must have been watching something else at that point. But yeah, absolutely fantastic job there by CaKesT. One thing CaKesT does mention in his description is to have a look at the coaster in daytime, because although some parts will obviously not look as good as they do in the dark, you'll probably see more detail. So let's just flick to daytime here. So you can see here a lot of the scenery pieces floating around there. Now if we go into one of these tunnels here, you can see the panels, etc., that have been put in here to create different effects. Here you've got, I mean, you know, you've got a huge amount of these starry panels. There's 1,200 pieces there just of that. And then what are these here? He's just what's that? Engine thruster. So you've got pieces like that where it's it's a really clever way to use that particular scenery piece. It's not something that looking at something like engine thrusters, people might put 1, 2 maybe on a coaster, but using them in this sort of way, is a really clever way of sort of adding to an experience. Again, you got to remember this is an experience for the user, for the player, as opposed to the guests, and therefore that's why the scenery is laid out in the way that it is. Here, obviously, you've got the track hidden underneath the path in the sand here. You've got these crows and a snake here, but it's really nicely hidden. It doesn't look like silly or whatever. It just blends in really well. And although you can't have the entire track like that, otherwise, the ride would be pretty boring if it was a bit like that. But it just works really well. And the other thing, stuff like this like half pyramid up here. Again, it's something that isn't always might not jump out to you straight away. If we look at it here, it's got like 3 different areas. So you've got this grass section, sort of like desert sandy section, and a winter section. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I've not actually watched Stargate Command. I've seen very few clips of it. So if this is relating to that, I do apologise because I haven't actually watched it. But you can see where the different areas come from. And again, if we just try and click on the track here to just get the layout, you can see there where the track moves around inside. Launches out of one part of the Cheyenne Mountain in the middle, goes around the scenery and comes back in. It just all looks so good, and as as a user playing the game and coming to this coaster for a ride, it really does make you sort of appreciate the time and effort that that was put into this. It's just a really nice use of terrain as well. You've got to be, for the terrain, you've got to be thinking ahead when you're setting up a custom terrain to make sure that that you've got everything you need really, because you can't just go changing it midway through the game. So you've got to have that plan from the start. But yeah, just everything about it just works so well. Let's have a look through this tunnel here. So. Where does the track go there? Oh, it goes down there. Again, you've got a room full of these like for the starry panels. Let's have a look at this bit, look. And there you can see, some of the other scenery that we went round. It's all layered really well, and for me, I would never have the imagination or the ability to build something this detailed and layered. The fact that you can jump through and there's another bit of the coaster that's wrapped around here. It's just it's just phenomenal. It really is. There's not much else to say really about this coaster other than I just recommend if you've got a PlayStation, have a look for it on the workshop, download it, and give it a go really, because it is, and just have a look around, see what is used, and I think by all means, see if you can use some of his blueprints. Obviously, if you do credit him, if you are going to put it on the workshop, but use some of these because they just look fantastic. Look, as we follow this through, it just all looks fantastic. So I will leave it there. I hope you enjoyed that. Subscribe if you are new. And as I say, I'll leave the details for this coaster in the description below so you can go and check it out yourself. Other than that, I shall see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.